Hi everyone! Welcome to episode 1 of Baking in Blue. This is a cooking show hosted by your friendly cookie burb, Teachup. We're going to be making some fun recipes every week, and today we're going to be making oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. Now, we add oatmeal because it makes the cookies a lot chewier, and I think it makes them a lot better. So, as you see in front of you, here are our ingredients. So we're going to go over them. Okay. So, we have a cube plus 6 tablespoons of another cube of salted butter, 3/4 of a cup of firmly packed brown sugar, and firmly packed means when you scoop in the sugar, you press down really hard on the measuring cup and keep pressing down and filling it up until it's full. Half a cup of regular sugar, 2 eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla, a cup and a half of flour, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of baking soda, 3 cups of oats, and these are old-fashioned oats, and you can use quick oats if you have that on hand instead, and then a cup of chocolate chips. Okay, and then over here we have our equipment. So I've got a stand mixer, which I'm going to use to mix up the cookies. Doesn't matter what kind of mixer you use. You can use whatever you have on hand or just your hands. Then we have a separate bowl with a whisk, a rubber spatula to clean out our bowl, and then 2 spoons to scoop the cookies onto the cookie sheets when they're ready to bake. If you want to just use your hands again and get messy, doesn't matter. I don't want to get messy. Okay, so let's start mixing together our ingredients. So we'll start by adding the butter and the 2 sugars and mixing those together. And this butter's been sitting out for a while, so it's really soft. You always want to do that unless your recipe actually calls for cold butter, like when you're making biscuits. Okay. And then we'll add 2 sugars. Sorry for the background noise here. Okay. And we will just mix that together on a slow speed. Like it started. There we go. Okay. And then we'll add our eggs and our vanilla. And because I am a bird, I don't like to directly touch my unborn children, so I got this cool little thing I found on the internet to crack the eggs. Let's see if we can actually get it to work. Oop. Almost dropped it there, that was close. There we go. 1. And oop. And 2. There we go. Dump the shell out there. Okay. Okay, and add the vanilla too. Oop. Okay. All right, and we will mix that up again. Okay. Okay, and then in our separate bowl, we're going to add the flour and the cinnamon and the baking soda. And you can also add half a teaspoon of salt if you want. It's optional. I'm not adding it because I use salted butter. So, add our flour here. Okay. And I'm going to link here to a video by Bake Me Up Buttercup about how to correctly measure flour, because you've probably been measuring flour wrong your whole life and you didn't even know it. So go give that a watch. It's really helpful. I actually did not know that either until I watched that. So, I didn't actually add all my baking soda here. There we go. Okay. Okay. And then we're just going to stir that up. And if you're wondering why we're doing this in a separate bowl, it's to make sure that all of the baking soda and the cinnamon gets evenly distributed throughout the cookies. Because otherwise, you'll have cookies that taste different with the cinnamon, and with the baking soda, you'll have cookies that don't rise correctly if it's not mixed together right. So, make sure you do this. Just about 30 seconds of stirring is all you need. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to turn this back on and gradually add the flour while it's going. Okay. And we're going to scrape off the sides of our bowl here because there's probably some flour. Oop, there's some flour right there even, on the top of the beater. That did not make it in. No. Go back down there. Get down there. Here we go. Okay. One like that. Okay. Scrape up the sides here. And scrape off the bottom too a little bit in case there's some flour that got stuck to the bottom of the bowl. Oop, I lost some. Okay. Gonna throw that back in there. Does not matter what you do to this dough at this point as far as getting it dirty, because we're going to bake it at 350 degrees and that'll kill off anything that might have gotten on there anyway. Okay. Which is almost good. Okay, and then once that is all mixed together, we're going to add the oats. So, I'm just going to add about half the oats right now. And then, just like the flour, we'll add the rest while it's mixing. I forgot to mention earlier, for my friends in the US, you always want to use room temperature eggs when you're baking. Again, just like the butter, unless it's actually calling for cold eggs. And the reason you want to use room temperature eggs is because they mix in to the dough a lot better than cold eggs do. And for things where you're whipping up egg whites, you will get a lot more actual egg white if it's room temperature. A lot more actual whipped egg white, not physically the egg white. Okay, and then final ingredient here, we're throwing our chocolate chips, and we're only going to mix these for about 5 seconds because we don't want to break up the chocolate chips too much. If you want to just mix these in with the rubber spatula instead, that's totally fine. Okay. Okay, and now we are ready to bake. So I will meet you over by my oven. So, as you can see behind me, I've got our trays prepped. And what you want to do is, since we're working with chocolate, you want to do this with every cookie that has chocolate in it. You want to line your cookie sheets with something to make the chocolate not burn. So on this one I have a reusable silicone baking sheet. You don't need that. It's just saves you money on parchment paper. And then on this one I have parchment paper. What you do not ever want to do is use wax paper instead of parchment paper. Wax paper is not meant to go in the oven. It can catch on fire. We don't want fire. I'm going to start scooping out all my cookies onto my cookie sheets here in big tablespoon size heaps, about that big. And this is going to take a while, so we're going to fast forward through this part. Okay? So I'll see you back here. I forgot to preheat my oven. For these cookies, we want to bake them at 350. And one general baking tip I would give is that you want to learn how your oven cooks. So mine cooks a little bit hotter than it's supposed to, and it also cooks faster on the bottom and on the back. So I'm going to set it to 340 instead. And then halfway through baking, I'm going to switch the top and the bottom trays and also flip them around so that the front will cook the same as the back. And I'm also going to turn my fan here, so apologies if you can hear that in the background. I'll try to cut it out. The other nice thing about using silicone baking sheets there is it doesn't slide around like parchment paper does. Okay, there we go. I thought I was going to need this fourth cookie sheet, but it turns out I don't, so we'll just set it aside here. Okay. And I'm going to stick these in the oven, and we'll switch camera angles again here so you can watch them bake. Okay, so go ahead and put the cookies in the oven. So, move this spatula out of the way. Move the cookie sheet there. Okay. So, please be safe and always wear an oven mitt even when you're just putting in cold cookie sheets like this. Just in case you accidentally touch one of the oven racks. Alright, there we go. So, those will bake for about 13 minutes until the edges are nicely golden brown. Okay? So I'll see you back here when those are done. Those are looking good. All right. One and two. And three. Okay. Boop. Boop. There we go. As you can see, some of our cookies started touching a little bit. That's okay. We're only eating them for ourselves, so we don't really care how they look. If you're taking them to a nice party or something and you want them to look really nice and round, then use that fourth cookie sheet and space them apart a little bit more than I did. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Maybe back here next week and we'll be making some cinnamon rolls with 2 different kinds of frosting. Doesn't that sound awesome? Okay, please leave a like on the video and subscribe if you can, because we're going to be doing this every week and I don't want you to miss out. And in the comments, let me know if you like all these camera angles or if you want one of them changed, because I'm still figuring it out. So help me figure it out if you can. Thank you for watching. Bye.